Welcome back to my Lemmings United level solving commentary. This should be my last video in the series for quite a while, just because I'm pretty much doing this concurrently with Icho's Creators Commentary series. And as much as I would love to keep uploading videos of my solutions, it's probably best that I don't, just because the levels that will be covered here are also the last set of levels that Icho covered as well. And so I will probably just make this my last video as well. I mean, unless it just says that it's okay for me to upload future videos. Um, Even though these 10 levels that I'll be covering is his last set that he covered. It's just that I'm more worried about like others who play the pack about viewing these videos and possibly not like trying on their own to solve the levels and just simply resorting to seeing a replay. It's not the act of uploading the videos of my solutions that's wrong or anything. It's just people who play the pack may not attempt the levels on their own. And so yeah, I'll probably just do this as my last video. Anyway, let's go on and cover neutrality 31 to 41. So this video will finish up the neutrality rank. So we are on neutrality 31, ancient digging magic. Let's go. Okay, so we have a pretty high release rate here. So with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lemming, I started digging. So by doing that, I had 2 lemmings that are trapped in the digger pit, and with one of them, let me see. Yeah, with the second lemming that gets trapped, I bash with him. So basically, the important thing is that I bash before we get too low, and I won't be able to release the blocker that I assign over here. Yeah, which I do right now with the first lemming. And then when the digger is through, both lemmings will be going to the right. And then with the lemming that's behind the one in front, I start digging. And then the lemming that is falling from the edge, he becomes a floater. What did I do? Okay, and then with the first lemming that is going to the left, I make him a blocker. And then I platform across. So this basher will proceed to release these blockers. And then the first lemming that walks back to the left, he's going to block over here somewhere, and then direct the crowd back to the right. And then with this digger that has dug low enough, I cancel him with a blocker. Oh, or maybe not. No, I do not block. So essentially, I position this digger in such a way so that it still leaves a step for them for the lemmings to land on. So I essentially have to align these 2 diggers in the right positions in order to achieve that. Okay, and then I platform across this gap. I think something's wrong here. No, never mind. I thought something was wrong with the replay. So I guess due to the digger positions, that allowed me to lose 1 lemming to the bottomless pit. So needless to say, the blocker that would have been here, that would be our casualty. The lemming that ended up falling to the bottomless pit was my casualty instead. So I guess in a way, this was just a creative alternative solution, which is probably maybe somewhat more difficult just because of the super precise digger placements. Okay, next level, neutrality 32, machines of our disgrace. Okay, so here we have a pre-placed blocker who is a floater. And for the time being, we're not able to do anything with the blocker until we collect this walker pickup. So the first thing we do with the lemming from the right entrance is that we stack it and clone them immediately. And then this lemming that walks out to the left from the left hatch will be a floater. Okay, so here is the trick that is needed here. The next lemming that comes out at this entrance, he will step up on top of the left stack, and then when he does, immediately start digging, which will dig away the stack and allow the lemmings, allow the clones that are in between the stacks to walk out to the left. Okay, then I go ahead and make this guy a floater, and then I immediately clone him. And then after cloning him, I stack and then clone. Stack and clone. Okay, so this has the following effect in that there are the stacker bricks that allow to break the balls of the lemmings that are coming. And then the first lemming that lands on top of the right stack will dig down so that the lemmings can keep walking out to the right here. But at the same time, it leaves the stack on the left intact so that they are able to turn around. Okay, and then just before this lemming falls off the edge, I clone him, and then I dig with the left-facing lemming. Left-facing clone. Okay, and then shortly after dropping to the bottom here, I stack and then clone. Okay, so placing the stacker this way will allow the crowd to fall into between the stacks here. So in this way, we have now contained the crowd. And all the crowd should arrive before the digger finishes. So that was just only a pixel of wall left. And then, of course, we're going to platform across this gap using all three of our platformers. Okay, now that we have the walker pickup, now we can go ahead and release the blocker, who will proceed to pick up the platformer pickup. And then he's going to float down and land on top of the left stack. And then what we need to do here is we need to platform for a bit, and then dig. Without platforming, he's going to destroy all the right stack, and then that will cause the crowd to walk out to the right and then fall down into his fire trap, which we don't want, since we need to save everyone. So that's when we need to platform for a bit before digging. So this level can be difficult just because of the stacker and then digging away the stack trick. And you have to do it a couple times here. Okay, next one. Neutrality 33. Like a sandworm. Okay. So after the first lemming, I immediately max out the release rate. And then somewhere in the crowd, I start to... Oh, and then I drop the release rate back to the default. Okay, with the third to last lemming. Okay, and then somewhere in the crowd, I start bashing. Okay, so that allows the last lemming in the crowd to get into this quicksand pit. Okay, so we will assign him a swimmer. And then the second to last lemming that came from the entrance, he'll become a swimmer as well. Okay, and then I proceed to block the crowd in with a blocker by making the basher a blocker. Okay, and then with the first lemming that falls, I glide so that he lands on here. He will proceed to bash. Oh no, he doesn't bash yet. I platform across this gap first. And then the other lemming that is up here, he platforms across. Okay, and then I bashed on through. And then of course platform across. Okay. And now I bash. Okay. And then I proceed to platform across this gap. And then this lemming that's up here, he will proceed to mine through this wall. And then, what did I do? Okay, and then with the lemming just at the base of the ramp, I go ahead and bash so that I can release the blocker and the crowd. Okay, and then all that's left to do is to bash through this wall. Okay, and that's it. Can be a little tricky, but it's not too difficult. At least in my opinion, it isn't. It's just all a matter of knowing how to separate two worker lemmings. Alrighty, neutrality 34. Lance, 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 Lance Lemstrong. Let's go. Alright, so immediately at the start, I put the release rate up to 85. It doesn't really have to be 85, I don't think. Just I just did this because of some timing. So what this will allow is that I dig with the first lemming, and then I build with the next lemming so that he turns around, and then he is still able to climb back out to the left. Okay, and then the other lemmings will simply get contained here. So once the first two lemmings were released from their entrance, I put the release rate back to default. Okay, and then after the third lemming falls out, yeah, then I max out the release rate. So a lot of the release rate tinkering that I did there probably wasn't necessary, but at least that's what I came up with in my solution. Okay, and then I proceed to build up to this wall so that he turns around. And then I proceed to build up to this rope so that the lemmings will turn back to the left. Okay, and then once everyone else has turned around with the last lemming, I go ahead and mine, and then give him a swimmer and a floater. Okay, so while he is moving along at the top, the rest of the crowd is contained here at the bottom. So they're not in any danger, so they'll just keep walking back and forth. Okay, he'll collect the miner pickup, and then after he turns back to the left, I go ahead and dig, and then I go ahead and build. And the purpose of this builder, is so that we can make one continuous mine and all the way through the one-way wall as well. Okay, which we proceed to do right now. Okay, so that releases the crowd. So all there's left to do is to bash through this pipe. And that's it. So I would say the most difficult part is the beginning here. But in my solution, it seems to be a pretty difficult one that I came up with. I think there's a much easier way to do it, but for the most part, my solution is quite difficult. At least with what I did at the beginning. But once you manage to figure out the beginning, the rest is like somewhat easy. Okay, next one is Neutrality 35, Revenants, which, if I recall, was the 2019 Level of the Year winner. And I can definitely see why, because this is a pretty good level itself, with a pretty nice solution. It can be somewhat difficult to find, but with a very limited skill set, it probably wouldn't take too long to eventually stumble upon it. Alrighty, so once I reach here, I block with the first lemming. And then with the last lemming in the crowd, I block. So to temporarily contain everyone. And then I release the left blocker with a basher. Then somewhere in this crowd, I start bashing to the right to release this blocker. And I do it in such a way so that everyone turns back to the right first. And what happened here? Oh, okay, yeah. So the wall was high enough to turn this blocker around to the left. Okay, and that only allows this basher to go on to the right. And then assign a floater. Platform across. What do I do? I assign the first lemming and a disarmer. These are fire traps, which are dangerous to the lemmings, so we must disarm them. Okay, and then I block with this floater down here. Okay, and then I make the disarmer a blocker, so that I can turn everyone else around. And then I proceed to free him with a basher with the last lemming, who will disarm the trap before the non-disarmer gets killed. Okay, he will turn back. The non-disarmer will turn back to the left and take this little detour that the rest of the crowd is taking, while the disarmer will bash through here so that he falls down here. So we will give him a floater, and then we will bash through these one-way obstacles, the one-way walls. He will disarm this trap here. And then finally, all that's left to do is to release this blocker with a basher. But you would need the disarmer to turn back to the exit first. Okay, so I will release the blocker with the first lemming that comes up to him from the left. And that's it. So it's a pretty beautiful solution. It's just all about knowing where to place your blockers and then freeing them with bashers. Alrighty, Neutrality 36. Cave Lem no float. Cave Lem fall. Okay, and we are under a time limit of 1 minute and 15 seconds here. This was another level that I also struggled with. In particular, I ended up backrouting this level. And actually, one of these was not due to a backroute, I believe. I think it was just an alternative solution I found. Actually, it might have been a backroute. I don't think I found the Nintendo solution until this third replay here. And so, yeah, this was a level that gave me some problems. It took me quite a while to find a solution. So the first lemming that falls, we'll make him a stoner right here. And then the next lemming that falls, we'll make him a stoner, so that lemmings can fall down safely to the bottom. So I will proceed to let 2 lemmings fall to the bottom. And then with the third lemming that comes out, or in this case the 5th lemming with the entrance, he will proceed to platform to the right. Okay, and then platform across here. And then when the platform turns around up here, we will go. And then the first lemming that goes to the right, he will be a disarmer. And disarm these evil eye straps. Okay, and then the trick here is this. So we're going to assign the lemming that's coming up a platformer, and he does it in such a way so that he places his brick on top of the other one, which causes him to turn around. Okay, so that gives him the lead and enough time to bridge across this gap before the others arrive. Okay, the builder will be given a swimmer up here, who will collect this bomber pickup. And then finally, all that's left to do is to bomb through this plant. Okay, and there's just enough time before the others will turn around. And that's it. So, before this version, I had the problem in that, like, I believe I tried a combination of platforming and building, but every time it would turn the platformer around instead, which wasn't what I wanted. Instead, I wanted the builder to turn around. And then eventually I came up with some solution where there used to be a tiny ledge here that the lemmings could land on. So that made it a little easier to bridge across this gap on time. And I believe the tiny ledge was low enough so that the lemmings won't turn won't be able to walk back up here and take a very long detour, because that will end up wasting, running out the clock. And so in this fixed version, there's no longer this tiny gap here, this tiny ledge, I should say. And so therefore, this platformer turnaround trick is required. It is now enforced. Okay, so we ended up with 9 seconds left there. Alright, Neutrality 37. Another one bites the dust. So there's the Abyss 2 of a low tile set level in this rank. Came pretty late in the rank as well, since it is pretty much the 5th to last level. Went too far. There we go.
Let's go.
Alrighty, so I'll proceed to mine with the first lemming going to the left. And then that allows one lemming to slip by, who will become the floater. And then somewhere up here, I assign a miner going to the left. Okay, so that will temporarily contain the crowd for a bit, and only allow this miner to get through, because everyone has to turn back to the right. And then I use another miner. Okay, we're gonna bridge across this gap. Okay, everyone else will turn back to the right before the miner is done. And so this miner is isolated. Okay, so this gap takes 2 builders. Okay, because that's really all that's needed. You just need 3 worker lemmings here. Okay, so we will bomb through this chain. And then build up. And then I build just a bit behind the first one. And then I make the builder in front a blocker to turn the second builder around. And it's just enough to get up. So 2 builders is enough here. Who picks up these bomber pickups. Okay, and then to stop this trap from killing anyone, this weasel trap. As a matter of fact, you want to see it? Yeah, so that's the weasel trap. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and load my replay again here. So I'm just gonna time skip up to that part. Okay, so to prevent this weasel trap from killing the lemmings, I bomb. And then to temporarily contain the crowd, I bomb here. Okay, and then I proceed to build with a lemming up. And just gives the other lemmings enough time to walk back down here to get contained. And then with the last lemming that is here, I proceed to mine them out. Okay, and then I mine underneath the trigger of the trap, the stomper trap. Okay, and then finally I build across, and that's it. So very different from the solution that Icho uses here, but I still use all the skills here, and it was still deemed acceptable. Okay, and then hit the blocker. Okay, and then Neutrality 38, get your parasol.
Let's go.
Okay, so the first 2 lemmings out will be gliders. And then block with the 3rd lemming underneath the hatch. And then immediately when he's able to, assign the blocker. Okay, so this will contain the crowd, where they will turn around after a pixel in each direction. Okay, with the second glider, I will bomb through this. And then I will build to make a landing bridge for the crowd. And then this lemming will be able to glide down here, so we don't need to spend a builder there. And then he will bridge across this gap. And then we will proceed to fence through this. And then we will build up on top of the lid here. The handle, I should say. Okay, and then fence up. And then near the top, we will go ahead and cancel the fencer with a walker mid-stroke. Okay, without destroying the terrain, so that they can walk up between these two umbrellas. Okay, and then all that's left to do is to bomb through this one. Okay, and then here's the trick here. We bomb with a lemming between the blockers, so that it releases both blockers, and the entire crowd will walk to the right. Okay, and there's a certain direction in which you need to assign a bomber. So I believe it was to the right. Yeah, you have to assign a bomber to a lemming walking facing to the right. If you assign a bomber facing the left instead, the crowd will walk out to the left here, and then they will fall down and die. And so it has to be assigned to a lemming facing to the right. So in other words, the easiest way to tell is to whichever direction you want the crowd to walk in, that's the direction in which you need to assign the bomber. If you want the crowd walking out to the right, you assign a bomber to the lemming facing to the right. If you want the crowd walking out to the left, you assign a bomber with a lemming facing to the left. So that's the easiest way to tell which direction to assign it in. Whenever you need to use that trick to release two blockers with a bomber. Alright, Neutrality 39, freedom.
Let's go.
Okay, so I proceed to build with the first two lemmings. Okay, and then I block on the staircase. Okay, the first lemming that finishes the builder will be a glider. So just that tiny bit that he's gliding allows him to land on this steel block here while falling into the bottomless pit. Okay, and then proceed to bomb with the glider. And then build twice across this water gap. Bash across. And then we will cancel him mid-stroke with a walker. Like so. And then I proceed to stack so that it turns the lemmings around to the left. And then we will fence. Not sure why I allowed him to turn around. So we will fence up. And then cancel him mid-stroke with a walker. And then finally bomb in such a location so that it creates this wall to the left that the lemmings cannot climb out of, and so they will turn back to the right and into the exit. Now all that's left to do is to release this blocker with a fencer. Okay, and in my experiences, it is possible to release a blocker with just one builder staircase, but it's a lot easier if you use two. And so hence that's the reason why there were two builders anyway, used for this purpose. You kind of have to anyway, because otherwise the second lemming will fall into the bottomless pit here. So therefore, releasing the blocker with the two builder staircase is enforced anyway. Alright, next up is Neutrality 40, to the control room. A rather very large level that looks very difficult.
Let's go.
Alrighty. So the release rate is pretty low here. So I believe I made him a climber. So we're gonna go ahead and stone with the first lemming at the top here to make a stepping stone and to break the follow the lemmings at the top crowd. Okay, so it looks like I cloned him and then platformed. And then I assigned this climber, this lemming a climber. Okay, I start platforming across to the right here. Okay, so we're just going to platform to seal off the gaps here. And then just want to make sure here. Okay. And then stone here to make another stepping stone and to break the fall of the top crowd. Okay, no, build. This lemming up here. And then I made this lemming that's stuck down here a climber. Yeah, and then the rest of it is just platforming across the gaps. Okay, so here, because I have no more climbers, I proceed to finish off the gap with the non-climber. This lemming is a climber, so he's able to get himself out. Okay, this lemming keeps building up. Okay, and this lemming that just got here will start platforming across. Okay, and then this lemming will platform across to temporarily contain the top crowd. Okay, and then this platformer will finish sealing off the gap. So this prevents the climber from coming all the way up here and then dying. Because I believe even if he reaches this one up here, he will die. Or possibly not. Maybe he'll land on this platformer bridge. But in any case, this bottom one sealed off the gap so that it's not a problem. And in any case, I built up high enough so that there's a gap here for the climber to come back out. Okay, and then with the non-climber, I proceed to platform with him. And that turns the other one around, the climber around. Okay, and then after sealing out this gap, going to the left with 3 builders, I proceed to build up to the right. Okay, now it's just navigating through this area over here. So obviously we're going to use fences to get through these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom back in now, since we don't really need to worry about the top crowd, since they're pretty much contained right here. So pretty much all the action will be taking place right here, at least from here on out. Okay, so I proceed to build up. And then platform across. I stone with a climber up here. And then okay, I did it when he fell and was facing to the left. It does make a difference because if you do it while the lemming is climbing, there won't be as much of the stoner terrain visible. Yeah, so I platform twice to seal off the gap. Okay, proceed to build up to the stoner with 2 builders. Okay, and it's just enough to be able to step up on the stoner. And I proceed to platform across. And again, this is just enough to be able to still step up. Okay, and then with a non-climber, I build to the right. And then I clone him. And then platform across to seal off the gap. Okay, platform across to the right. And then in the meantime, I go ahead and release the top crowd with a digger through this platformer brick or platformer bridge. Okay, and then after a bit, I go ahead and stone. And then finally build up. And that's it. So this level was pretty difficult, made in large part due to the fact that it's pretty huge. And also just being able to figure out how to stop any non-climbers from falling to the bottom where they cannot escape. Here I might have made my solution more difficult than it needed to be, but that's pretty much the idea. Platforming across these gaps so that non-climbers cannot fall down in the bottom pits there. Because if they do, they won't be able to escape later, especially run out of climbers after. Okay, and then the rank finisher, Neutrality 41. Neutral no more. this level has a very, very extensive history with me. This was a very major roadblock for me, where, believe it or not, I was actually stuck on this level for 3 to 4 months. Yes, that's how long I got stuck on this level. And it was mostly due to how I was never able to make this part work out in the end. And for some very odd reason, in an old version, there used to be a hole in the wall here that I kept on using, but I never ruled out as incorrect in the route. So that just led to too much problems. And not to mention, I didn't really quite figure out the beginning part correctly either. So, with this correct solution that I finally found after so long, so with the first lemming on the bottom, we go ahead and stack, and then after a while, we go ahead and clone them. So this is the trick that was used a bit in firewalking. So this will allow this top crowd up here to land down here safely while splatting. Okay, and then I proceed to let all lemmings out. Okay, and then with the last lemming from this hatch, I go ahead and build up. This takes 3 builders. Alrighty, and then I build up here, obviously. Okay, and then I go ahead and mine. And then after he mines for a bit, then we clone him, so that miner uses the staircase to continue. And then stop with his steel. Okay, and then the miner that goes to the right, he will be a floater. And then give him a walker to turn around, who will platform across this gap. Skip this a little. Okay, and then clone the miner so that he goes over here. And this will be the tunnel that the crowd would take to get to the exit. And then what do I do? Okay, and then I proceed to mine so that it gets rid of this overhang here. And then clone the miner, and then we will interrupt the one going to the right with a walker, creating this step so that we will be able to platform across and get higher later. So there's that trick from symmetric asymmetry. And then same thing, go ahead and clone the miner, and then interrupt the one going to the left mid-stroke with a walker. Time skip this. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and platform across. And then same thing here, platform across. Okay, and then with this terrain that's over here, that turns out not to be decoration. Go ahead and bash, and then cancel him mid-stroke with a walker. So now they are able to step up here. Then at the very edge, yeah, start platforming across with the remaining platforms we have. Okay, this is high enough for the lemmings to be able to get out. And that's it. So this level can definitely be difficult. Yeah, mostly due to the tricks that are required here. So this stacker cloner trick, mining through this builder staircase, and also mining and then canceling mid-stroke, create the steps to get higher and platform across. So before I found this working solution, the thing that I kept on doing was I kept turning these lemmings up here around with walkers, and so that created problems where in the end I will always be a platformer short or walker short. And so for some very odd reason, I never ruled out where the hole used to be in the steel wall, is incorrect for a very long time. So I don't know why it took me that long before I finally found a solution. But there you have it. And as a matter of fact, this level, Neutrality 41, was the level that I was stuck on the longest out of any other level in this pack. Yeah, no other level in this pack took me that long. It was mostly due to the fact that in the months after I first reached this level, I was also vacationing in Vietnam as well. So that limited the amount of time that I could play. And then a couple weeks after I got back from my vacation, yeah, then I was able to finally get past this level after finally finding this solution here. So yeah, that's my history and my long struggle with this level. And then I eventually posted my best attempt replay in the level pack topic. And then got the vague hint of just remembering the tricks that I had to learn throughout the rank. Because those usually come back in the rank finishers. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the neutrality rank and onto the third rank, which is tension. And again, just like I said at the beginning, because this is where Icho stopped with his creators commentary series, I will probably make this one my last video as well. That is, unless Icho says that it's okay for me to keep recording videos. But again, like I said, the thing I'm worried about is just the fact that people who play through this pack will probably resort to seeing replays or a video solution. And it's not there's nothing wrong with posting my videos showing my solutions. Just people may not attempt to solve the levels. So I will probably make this my last video as well for quite a while. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video of my Lemmings United level solving commentary, and I will see you all next time for whenever I continue recording videos for this series, which may be not for a very long time. So until then, have a great day.